Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to What Women Want with Judy Goss and Kristen West, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to What Women Want Talk Radio. Thank you for joining us for our show tonight, Your Definition of Success. We have successfully reached over 1 million downloads since we first hit the airwaves, with me broadcasting from New York and my co-host Kristen West all the way from our studio in LA. And between latalkradio.com's archives, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and all over social media, you can find us everywhere. So listen to those replays, subscribe to us on YouTube, and sponsor us if you want to get you or your company out there. Email us for a complete deck through our website, whatwomenwantradio.com. Kristen, I have a feeling there's quite a story behind Fred Thomas's fame. He certainly didn't go the traditional route an actor usually takes to book a commercial. Now, did he?
No, Fred really took his destiny into his own hands and has been produced and acted in an iconic award-winning commercial, and it's our pleasure to have him here this evening with us.
I am so excited. And the story just goes on and on about how he catapulted into fame, and then, you know, his own story of what happened in between until the resurgence of this amazing talent. So we're going to find out all the details in just a minute. And of course, Shinjini Das is back also. She's an entrepreneur, world leader, engineer, media darling. Oh my gosh, all before she hit like 24 years old. These two are very different definitions of success, but all the same achieving it in their own right. Our sponsor this evening is Design and Print Resource, and thank you, Gloria Strayer. Everyone buys printing in some form at some point, so the company you can trust for great service is Design and Print Resource. Gloria Strayer, she's the founder and owner in Anaheim, California. Design and Print Resource has been in the print industry for 40 years. Her services also include warehousing and distribution, so give them a call at 714-687-9200 or go to dmpresource.com. Now, my background originally comes from high fashion modeling with Ford New York, and after that, I was a magazine editor and then author with St. Martin's Press, which eventually led me to TV hosting and reporting regularly for Better TV, City Buzz, and all the TV networks around the country. I'm a regular contributor on NBC and Fox, and I also host the show Behind the Gates New York, a luxury real estate show airing on AWE. And Ryan Serhant from $1 Million Listing New York was recently a guest on the show, so that was exciting. So I've been having a great time. And between raising twin teenage girls and all of that, I'm also an entrepreneur. I founded the company What Women Want Networking almost 8 years ago now. My gosh, we're hosting our second National Women's Conference, October 19th through the 21st at the Hyatt Regency in Atlanta. And the theme, Go Big, which, by the way, has a lot to do with our show tonight. Let me tell you, our guests have gone big for sure and succeeded at it. And the minute I started to declare that I'm going big, and I'm not going home, by the way, that's where the saying came from, is when things really started happening for me, and I created my own success. So if you want to meet me in person, or perhaps Kristen, my co-host, or you want to rub shoulders with Amy Newmark, who's our opening keynote, she's the CEO of Chicken Soup for the Soul, join us in Atlanta in October, whatwomenwantconf.com, CONF.com. Last year was our first conference, and women from 13 states in Canada attended, and it was just so inspiring and invigorating. And we have world-class speakers who flew in from all over the country. And this year we have the same, Leslie Jean Seymour. She's coming on the show next week, actually. She's going to speak for us. She was the editor-in-chief at Marie Claire, More Magazine, Redbook Magazines. And David Baer's back this year, the newest motivational mindset sensation. Cecilia Lank of Value Setters. They have 200,000 angel investors in their network. So if you're an entrepreneur looking for investing, it's a good contact to have. Women for One's Kelly McNellis, Catherine Marshall, the founder of Simple Fat Burn, Deborah Daniel from Charter Accounting. All of these speakers, VIPs, celebrities, and surprise guests too. You're going to want to be there, right, Kristen?
Oh, yes. Don't miss this event, ladies. Please. It's one of those events that you just cannot miss. I had such a blast at the conference last year, and I made sure to block out time on my calendar to get there this year, and I'm going to be there, and I'm so excited to see all of you again, too.
Oh, I love that. And you know what? I have an announcement. We are 25% full. We have sold 25% of the tickets to the conference, and we have 3 months to go.
Wow. So you know
exciting?
what? You know that social media handle, FOMO, fear of missing out. Don't miss out. You don't want to miss out on this.
Totally. So go to What Women Want Conf right now until August 1. We have a $100 off coupon code for Go Big discount. We're raising the prices after that. It's done. All the sales are over with. Get your tickets before it's too late. Now, Kristen, tell us what's going on with you.
It's a very exciting week for me.
All right.
Yes, we have really officially wrapped up our first season of Horror Talk right now. We have our last bonus episode I would love everyone to see. It is... Wait
a minute. You're in film festivals and getting nominated for all these awards, and you haven't even wrapped up the first season yet?
Well, we did a bonus episode because I thought the film Streamer by Jared Bratt and Vince Cupp was so important at the Concrete Dream Film Festival that I decided to do a special bonus episode of their Q&A at the Concrete Dream Film Festival, founded by Rena Riffle, because their psychodrama film deals with social media and isolation and sex trafficking and some really salient hot topics right now. So I sprung for a bonus episode. So that's available right now on YouTube and our new Twitter page at Horror Talk _KW. So please follow me there. Follow the show because we're gearing up for our second season. We're going to be shooting at Hollywood Horror Fest next week, actually.
Oh my gosh, you're nonstop. You just you're soaring. It's incredible to see. I love it. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, Judy. You are such a huge inspiration to me, and we always have inspirational guests like Fred and Shinjini week after week, and I'm just so excited to be part of all of this.
Well, thank you. I mean, you always say that, but I roll my eyes and go, oh, I really don't have much to do with it. I think we make a great pair. But anyway, we have our first guest, Fred Thomas. He's in the studio. And again, I want to kind of lay out for people listening that I'm in New York, broadcasting from New York, and Kristen is in our studio at LA Talk Radio in LA with Fred. So I'm going to let her bring him on since I can't really see what you guys are doing.
Well, I'm so happy. Fred is an award-winning actor, producer, director, and writer, and he has over 30 film credits. He's best known, however, as the What's Up guy from the famous beer commercials that ran about 17 years ago. Those commercials spawned more than just 15 minutes of fame for Fred and his co-stars, as they did a whirlwind tour of talk shows, including all the late-night and morning network shows. And now Burger King has brought the guys back for those famous ads all these years later, and Fred and the guys are once again in high demand. Now, Fred is here today to tell us what he's learned, how he's grown, and what you can do to prepare yourself for success. Welcome to the show, Fred. I love it. I love it. I was about to ask you, what's up, Fred? There you go.
How you doing? We should record that and have that for the beginning all the time.
I agree. So, Fred.
Yeah.
How did the original commercial come about?
So my buddy Charleston III, he's a director, and at the time he had done a bunch of music videos, and he needed to get something on his narrative reel, director's reel. So he called up his buddies, me, Paul, Terry, Kevin, a bunch of us, and he was like, "Yo, I got this concept, like, based off this thing that we do, how we interact with each other, guys being guys." And he was like, "This is the scenario. Add your flavor and spin to it." So, he was like, all right, he's my buddy. We shot the short film. It was called True. And there was no beer in the commercial. It was just the guys on the phone, kind of talking to each other about sports. And then, after we shot, we went up to New York. They was living in New York at the time. I went back to Philly. I was waiting tables at Hold a Hands restaurant, and I was in grad school. So I went back to, doing what I do. And a year later, he called me, and he said, "Hey, man, Budweiser wants to turn the short into a commercial.
Wow.
Yeah. He said, but you have to audition.
What?
I said, wait a minute. I'm not auditioning to be me. Like,
Wait, how did he get this? How did they find it?
So DDB Chicago, one of Budweiser's advertising agencies, saw it in a film festival. And
See, Kristen?
Yes.
You're next.
And the agency pitched the concept to Bud. And it was so funny. The other story they tell us is that when they went to show August Bush the Fourth, the short, and the sound didn't come on.
Oh no!
Yeah, so they were like freaking out, but he was just watching, and all they saw was just like, he just saw the guys like on the phone. He was like, all right, well, let's try it. And yeah, they called us up, and we came in, and they wanted to try to do the whole multicultural thing, but they realized that the essence of the commercial and the whole, concept is with the friends. Mm-hmm. So it was like, let's just go, with the friends, and it just took off from there.
Did you meet August Bush the Fourth?
We used to hang out.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
We used to hang out. Yeah. He was a cool dude. Yeah, I mean, we met basically the whole Bush family. The third and all the execs there.
And just so you know, we're not talking about George W. Bush, George H. Bush. We're talking about Bush, like beer.
Right.
Just gotta clarify that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
So you do this commercial that suddenly everybody is parroting. Mm-hmm. The WHAZZUP, you're gonna have to teach me how to do that later. It is now kind of in the cultural zeitgeist. It's the catchphrase of catchphrases for that cultural moment. So after the success of the commercial, you did a whirlwind tour of all these late night talk shows and these morning shows. Mm-hmm. Who did you meet?
You name it. Jay Leno. Jay Leno used to call us up to do the Tonight Show, do skits and stuff on the Tonight Show.
What?
We've been on Oprah, Katie Couric from, the Today Show. I ran into her at Aroma a couple of weeks ago, and she saw me, and she was like, "What's that?" In Aroma,
She's
in
so
Aroma.
cute.
So everybody's looking at us like,
"What's going on?
What's going on?" Yeah.
Please tell me you got video of that.
I didn't. I just got a big hug, and we talked for a minute. But
Katie Couric, if you're listening, we need you to come back and do this with Fred.
Yeah, and we went to Buckingham Palace, and we were standing out in front of the gates, I get with the guards stand.
Right.
And the guards, they don't move, they don't flinch.
The beefeaters.
Exactly. They're like, statues. And we're doing like a sort of a sketch with the Sun, I think it was, and a couple of TV shows that were kind of following us around. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, one of them goes, "What up?"
No way.
Yeah, I was like, I'm good. I can die now. Like, I can die now. Yeah. And it went all over London. Like, it was on the newspapers every day. Like, they had a picture of this guy's like doing it. Like, he got in trouble. I think they
I would
gave
imagine.
him.
I was about to say, did he still have a job
but
after that?
I think they like gave him the week off or something. Like, that was they reprimanded him that way. But that was like historical. So that made like my lifetime right there. One of the things. So.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you've ever been outside of Buckingham Palace, it's just this massive structure. It's bigger. I mean, it's a residence, but it's gigantic and the big iron gates. It's just very intimidating.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you, with all of this massive success and worldwide notoriety, what was the biggest challenge of dealing with all of that? You had gotten your master's. How soon after your master's had this happened? It
was probably a month, if that. Like,
what?
Yeah, I've graduated, and then literally we were like, out. We were probably on the road.
Did you get free beer FedEx to you wherever you went?
You know what? You don't even understand. You don't even understand. Like, yeah, it was constant. We were out 3 weeks out of the month, just touring.
Touring.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like a rock band.
Like a rock band. Yeah. Like, it was insane. And bears there, and everything. Yeah, we just had a good time, and you're with your friends, so you couldn't. I mean, it was nothing. I couldn't think of anything greater.
Did you have WhatsApp groupies too? Did you have like people following you around?
Actually, yeah, it was a little crazy. Like, I mean, that was the part I really kind of appreciated. It was like, wow, I guess this is how rock stars, live. If that was a little piece of it, that was fine with me. But it was so much fun. We had tour buses. We flew around the world. We met any kind of sports figure you can think of. Wayne Gretzky, I'm talking about the legends, Sandy Koufax. I got like signed baseballs by Sandy Koufax and Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds, brought out the Lakers and in the championship. There's so many things I can't even remember. It kind of comes to me, and it may pop in, as we talk.
So, with that massive level of fame, is it all it's cracked up to be?
Yeah. If you appreciate it and you and you treat it right.
I wasn't expecting that answer.
I really enjoyed it. Because like I said, I was waiting tables. I was in grad school. I had 3 jobs at the time. I had a daughter. So, I was hustling. So this was just like such a blessing. You could only just receive it for what it was. So it was like, just enjoy the ride, enjoy the time with your friends, meet amazing people. We did a lot of things with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Kids wanted to meet us. So and just do right by your money and learn and meet people. Yeah.
So what was life like after the commercial got pulled and had played out? What was that like for you? What did you do next?
Well, what did we do next? Oh my gosh. Well, then I exercised my degree.
Well, there you go.
Right. Yeah. It was time now to be a filmmaker. So I moved to LA in the midst of everything, and started working on projects. Started writing my own stuff because people wanted to see, okay, what's the next phase for you? So I'm a theater heavy guy, coming from Philadelphia, and living a few months and back and forth in New York. So I started exercising, my theater chops and directing and producing. I produced a bunch of plays for a business partner who wrote some plays back in Philadelphia. He moved out here as well. Then I started financing other people's projects, shorts, and then I started getting into, some feature stuff and things of that nature. So, yeah.
So you start off, you have this massive public worldwide recognition, and now you're producing your own content, plays, movies, TV, all of that. What is success to you today?
Success is being able to do these things, being able to collaborate, work with other artists, and employ people. I went to Link University undergrad. I went to Temple University grad. So I always try to reach back and say, hey, guys, I'm working on this project. We need PAs or we need something. Paying it forward. So being able to do that is a wonderful, I think that's like, I've achieved success with that, Well,
the iconic things never die.
Right. Well, right.
And WHAZZUP is back. So tell us about that. What happened now? What's going on? You're back.
That's a little more of a boring story because it was.
I don't think it's boring at all.
Because it was just like an out of a blue phone call.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to know what happened when all of this fame wore off a bit.
As far as my life, or just in
general? Like how did you react to it? How did you deal with it? I mean, that's a really huge head trip.
Yeah, it was when things slowed down, and it was because of 9/11 happened at that particular time. So Budweiser wanted to go in more of a patriotic way with the commercials and things they wanted to do. So
bring back the Clydesdales.
Yes, bring back the Clydesdales. And so from there, it was just like, okay, let me just start, working on me and projects with the guys. Like we had a ABC special. So we were still doing like ABC specials. We were doing stuff like Hollywood Squares. So there was stuff still in the pipeline we were still doing, but my focus was to start concentrating on my writing and
you got a People's Choice Award in there too.
People's Choice Award in there, yeah, a couple of Clios, some Grand Prix awards from Cannes. So it was about then just concentrating on me and any opportunity that may benefit me and the guys. But I wanted to start working on my own stuff, and that's what I started doing.
So they're bringing you guys back. They did a big rollout of you at the World Cup, which is the biggest sporting event in the world.
That's bigger than the Super Bowl. Like, man.
I'm just crazy to look at this man's astrology chart. How did it feel to get your commercial played during the World Cup?
It was huge, especially when the phone calls and the text started coming through. People were like, "Yo, we just saw your commercial. You guys with the king and all that." Because I hadn't seen the commercial.
Really?
Like I just, I knew what I got. I was told what Burger King they was going to do, but they didn't kind of give us the whole layout. So when I saw the king at the end of the commercial, I was like, I thought that was just so classic, But yeah, it was great to finally see it, the finished product.
So post master's degree, you fresh out of college, had that big success. It's coming back again. What are you doing differently this time?
This time, I'm not going out every night drinking Bud.
I don't know.
But you're still drinking Bud, right?
Still, well, you know what? I still drink Bud, but I've cut back. I'm not as young as I used to be. You're
drinking responsibly,
right? Exactly. I'm drinking responsibly, and the nights aren't as late as they used to be. Yeah, and I've been able to with some of the people I've met in the past, and recently with the resurgence of the commercial, I'm just capitalizing off of new opportunities and a new audience, because like this, we're pretty much they're introducing this to the millennial age. The kids, the young adults, they were babies back then. So
and recently Ellen DeGeneres has mentioned it.
Yeah.
You were mentioned on the Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah,
is that true?
that's true. Yeah, I found that out I just found out stuff just by hearsay. People was like, "Yo, we saw you. We heard you doing it in Ant-Man, and Ellen said something about you guys today on the show." So,
oh my God, yeah. I hope you have enough minutes and data on your phone for all this.
I know, right? Yeah.
Okay, so Fred, I'm not leaving here until you teach me how to do the WHAZZUP. Okay. I'm going to learn it from you. So how do I do it?
All right. So you have to start off. When you look at me, you have to be happy to see the person that you're looking at.
Okay.
And then you kind of just belt it out with a little bit of extension of the tongue, sort of like a WHAZZUP.
Okay, I'm going to try it, Judy.
I can see you doing it.
All right. I'm going to take a big, deep breath because I'm in the presence of the master.
Oh, wait a minute. I got to get on.
Let's whip out the phones here.
Here we go. All right, here we go.
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
What's up?
That'll work.
That's a little. I had my little horror star spin on that because I kind of look like those pictures of Kali, the Indian goddess, where she's killing people. I kind of look like that a little bit. So I'm going to practice that at home, folks.
And I'm sorry, I didn't hear yours, Judy. I'm sorry. What?
That's right,
what?
Judy.
But you said I had to look at you, so I'm over here hesitating.
But it goes like this. It goes, "Yo, Judy, pick up the phone."
What's up?
And
I have your true.
True.
So
that's actually my favorite part. True.
Nice. Lay you back.
I love that.
So Fred,
but
go ahead, Judy.
Fred, it's quite a story. And congratulations, first of all, for all of this, because it sounds like, it's not just a commercial they brought back. It's one that they are bringing back in a huge way. Yeah. And you've done so many other things in between that can be attributed to your success also. So congratulations for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And,
absolutely. I have another go-getter here on the line. My gosh, Shinjini Goss. She was with us about 6-7 months ago on the show, and she's back. We want to know what she's up to also. She's known as the Go-Getter Girl. She is on a mission to bridge the content gap between intellect and pop culture in the media. She's a founder and CEO of the DOS Media Group, an empowering media content production agency. She's also an engineer, a TV personality fluent in Spanish, and a women's advocate with the U.S. Department of State. Shinjini has a reach of 2 million plus a month with digital venture growth and scale strategy interviews, on and in ABC, Forbes, NBC, Inc., C-Suite Radio, iHeartRadio, NPR, Business Insider, Deutschland, and Yahoo Finance. She published her first memoir at the age of 26 called Unapologetically Shinjini to empower her exploding global fan base of go-getters. Welcome back to the show, Shinjini.
Thank you so much, Judy, Kristen. I'm just super stoked to be with you today. And, you both inspire me deeply. And as I was listening to your achievements and what you've done in the last 6 to 7 months, all I'm thinking is I got to get back to the grind.
You weren't thinking, but
That too. I have to say the horse spin was really great.
I know. Isn't he inspiring? And I'm excited to see everything that's going on with you. My gosh, you move so fast. I mean, you're not even 27 years old yet. And you already have your first memoir out. And you're just rolling along incredibly. Tell us what's new besides your book.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think, and it's just so funny because I was talking to someone this morning about it or afternoon about it. But really, it's interesting, Judy, because I sort of have gone backwards, right? So kind of got the followers, right? Embraced social media very early on and really have exploded in a good way. Again, not millions yet on any platform, but getting there, right? So altogether about 400,000 now across all social media platforms, which is exciting. But now we're at the stage of kind of building that sales funnel, figuring out what my products are as a personal brand, because the agency is sort of its own thing. But it's interesting because you have people now saying like, oh, great, like we follow you, you're a go-getter, now what, right? And so I was literally just this afternoon talking to someone about it, and we both started laughing because a lot of people go the other way, right? So they'll have, the products of this, but it's like the followers are taking time. So for me, it worked backwards, which it was exciting. But now it's a little stressful because we're literally trying to catch up with the build, So the book was important for that reason, because everybody thought and asked, how did this happen? How did this happen? And so my team said, you got to write a book. Tell them how it happened. And I said, you know what? I guess I will. So we're sort of working backwards is really what
Well, that's fantastic. And, you have a parallel with Fred in that way. That, he's kind of a bit backwards too, but in a very good way. So you guys are embracing, the changes and pivoting with it. And it's just wonderful. Shinjini, what's your definition of success as a world leader and an influencer?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think about this a lot, Judy, and I think the answer is that we are able to obviously be empowered ourselves, right? And, I think me before would have said, fulfilled and this and that. But I feel like as I'm, growing up quickly, I don't have a choice. It is very sort of practical, right? So I think you have to be financially empowered. You have to be mentally empowered, physically, emotionally, psychologically, but then also, use your talents to give back, right? As Fred is doing, right? And I love the bit about sort of employing like Temple grads. I think that's beautiful. And I think that really is how I view success, is that you quote unquote make it, right? Or you're in the process of making it, but you're also helping others make it along the way. And I think that's really what it's about, Judy. I mean, you do that, Kristen does that, all of you do that, and you really are go-getters, right? Because that, to me, is what it's about, right? We're doing it, but we're also helping others do it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'll definitely be one of Shinjini's go-getters any day, anytime you want me to. I just think it's fantastic what you're doing. I also know that you have a very interesting cultural background, too. And, you went to school to become an engineer. Tell us a little bit about that and about, taking that leap and becoming an entrepreneur and I think going against some of the ways you were raised. Isn't that right?
Yeah. And I'm really glad you brought it up because I definitely would bring it up because, Judy, a big part of my fan base, or as I call it, fan base, family, is are minorities, right? And, I get this question a lot from them, whether that's, Indian, people, go-getters from Africa or Dubai or, Asia or wherever, right? And that is sort of the most common question, which is, how did you move on to something else. And it's so interesting because, growing up, I heard a lot of, actresses start saying, I wanted to become an engineer and then I became an actress, right? And so they're no longer sort of the favorite child, right, of all the Indian parents, right? Whereas for me, I have a very unique positioning, which I'm very aware of, that here I am, from the #1 industrial engineering program in the U.S. We were just ranked, again, #1 Georgia Tech. And I'm in the media now. So I have this unique standing, which is why I feel it's so important for me to advocate and say, let your kids do different things. Don't hold them to that one standard of literally it's doctor, lawyer, or engineer, and especially in the Indian subculture, that's what it is. And for me, it's a little restrictive, because as much as I loved engineering, that wasn't all I wanted to do. As much as I love media, that wasn't all I wanted to do. So in many ways, I'm creating my own definition of success, and I'm creating my own definition of a career. So, a lot of it is process-oriented, because the media now, as I'm growing more and more into it, it's just incredibly process-driven in terms of just how I'm running my agency and how we're thinking about business development, how we're thinking about the clients to, take on or who to go after and all these different things. I mean, there's a process behind everything. And that's my training, as an industrial engineer. So the question that really irritates me is, so you're not using your degree. So that was a waste, right? Whereas, obviously, I spent, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, right, getting that degree and, getting a scholarship to get that degree. So it's almost offensive, right, when people say that. So I really have to correct them and say, no, I am using it, just in a different way. My title may not be engineer, but I'm definitely using those same processes and knowledge that I've gained on the job today.
Now, I'm interested in what Fred said, and the way, Fred, that you went to school. And I don't know if you always wanted to become an actor or you were studying to be a producer, director, writer that you are now. Mm-hmm. Did you always want to be in the entertainment industry?
Yeah. Since I was young, I probably maybe since around 8 or 9 years old, I always knew I wanted to perform in some capacity. And I used to perform in grade school during recess. I used to watch a lot of Saturday Night Live and read a lot of Mad magazines. And I used to.
Did your family support you in that?
They did, not in the direction our baby's gonna be a star, but that's cute. But you go and get that degree, so I was the youngest, I think I was the youngest or the second child to get a degree on one side of the family and then the first on the other side of the family. So that was kind of important, but they always supported my work, came to see my plays and everything. But to them, that wasn't kind of, I guess, at the time tangible. It was more about, getting a degree or a job in the city or something in that nature. But I knew that had been my dream, and I just wanted to perform. And so I just did it in different ways, community theater and school, and I just stayed with it, even though I stayed on the path that they wanted me to as well, and was able to do both.
Mm-hmm. That is great. And it's admirable that you knew so early on. And Shinjini, sometimes it's hard as you get older to kind of switch gears and start something new. So it's a good thing, really, that you realize this at such a young age. And I see that you are using your degree and everything that you have behind you to make yourself a success. But my question is that, it seems like everything you do seems to, be a success. Everything you touch turns to gold. Any failures or trip-ups along the way you want to mention to let us know that you're human?
Totally. Oh, my God. Where do I start? I think I look at it as personal and professional. I think personally, and I'm very open about this, Judy, but when I was in corporate, there were a lot of issues, from just personality-wise. I think I was very abrasive. I think I was very... just coming on too strong, to be honest, making a lot of people mad. There was a period of time when I'm not sure I was comfortable going to anyone for, advice or something, because I was do they like me? So I think I had a lot of issues with that. I think in retrospect, because I've done a lot of analysis, because I feel like in the media, you do have to be very self-aware. And in my position, inspiring people, I have to be self-aware. And so I did a lot of reflection. And I think that what I came to was that I was actually very frustrated, doing what I was doing, because I knew that that's not where I belong. And it's so funny, like Fred is saying, performing, that was my life, Judy. How about Indian? Like everything I did was Indian, like Indian plays, Indian dance, Indian this, but I was the star of everything, the dance, the this, the that. And now when I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, all of this makes so much sense. But at the time, coming back to kind of the corporate, I think I was very abrasive, and I think I was very frustrated that, like, this is all I'm doing is, doing some presentation, whereas I feel like I should be, presenting and speaking. But like as a first year, analyst, you don't really get that many opportunities to present and speak. Like that's the partner's job, in a corporate setting, in a consulting company. And most of the partners were guys, right? So I was just always frustrated that I'm not being fully explored to my full potential. And I think that came out as being very aggressive, potentially like, oh, she thinks she's better than everyone, like kind of elitist and all these other things. Even in my personal life, I got the feedback consistently that you're difficult to approach, we're intimidated by you. Like this was a very consistent thing for like 2 years, wow. And then I came upon it, I think I was like 24, when I quit the second job.
You were
started
old.
Entrepreneurship. I know, right? So old. But I was kind of mad, Judy, because I know myself, and yeah, I was a little unapproachable, but like I wasn't this, not demon, but like this, person that people were painting me to be. Like, oh, she's unapproachable. She thinks she's better than everyone. And I'm like, why is this happening? And I really came down to like, maybe I need to, fix some stuff in myself, and like become more open and accepting and loving and non-judgmental and, non-elitist. And so I really like had to take a couple of humble pills, to be honest, in the last 2 years. And you know what? People are now reaching out to me saying exactly that. Their exact words are, I loved your message from day one. I just didn't like how you were saying it 2 years ago, but like now I'm totally a fan. And I think that is the biggest validation, because I feel like I've changed, but like if you guys don't think that, then what's the point?
Shinjini,
but no, that was a real struggle.
Shinjini, I think you're singing some of my song, because I've had to deal with that as well, as both a woman and also a millennial woman, which is something that we have in common. Is that sometimes ambitious women do get a bad rap, and you've said that you're totally unapologetic about being an ambitious woman. So how did so what was your first point? Where did you first start to make that very personal change to not come off as abrasive, or how did you even handle that? Because a lot of people would just kind of give the finger to the workplace and just keep doing what they were doing and getting the same results. How did you even start? Right.
And it's so funny. I don't know if I told you about how this quote started, but I was literally in my living room, and I just wrote this. I was like, everybody should be unapologetic. And for like some reason, it literally went viral. Like, I mean, it was quoted. It was Label League at the time, with like literally after Michelle Obama. And I'm like, this is not what I was going for, but I will own it now. And so, I think for me, I've always been very like, self-driven, the whole like, people don't understand me. I understand myself. And so I figured that, hey, if other people are not going to honor this in me, I'm going to honor it in myself. Because I literally just posted about it on LinkedIn the other day. Speaking was called a distraction in my corporate career, to be honest. There was only, I think, like one person who called it like a potential foundation for, success as a business leader. But a lot of men, mostly men, said that it was a distraction, right? And so when you're repeatedly like burned like that, like, oh, this is dumb, this is stupid, don't do this, go and just make PowerPoints, right? There was a part of me that's like, no, like I am an unapologetically ambitious woman, and that's not going to die. And I think that was really the impetus, feeling stifled by everyone else, including family, because I'm Indian. We don't like this is not part of our culture to raise unapologetically ambitious women. Like this is not part of it. However, I do come from a family of very strong women. But even today, every day, my family says go work at Google. That's where you belong, right? So,
oh my gosh.
So there was a part of me,
Well, I think
so
there's something very real.
If I could become the CEO of Google, I would do that, but that wasn't, to be honest, realistic, to ascend the corporate ladders to the degree that I would have to ascend to equal entrepreneurship success. It just wasn't viable. So I think for me, it was like a rebel statement. It's like, no, I am unapologetically ambitious, and no one's going to, put out that flame in me.
Well, if Google exploded in a burst of energy and brightness and enthusiasm, we'll know you had walked through the door, Shinjini.
Yeah. Right.
But I have to ask you, because you're incredible. You've come to a place of self-knowledge and self-awareness. Right. How do you know that you're making the right moves career-wise? Is it something you feel in your gut? Is it something in your heart? Is it an idea that trips your trigger that says, I've got to go after this in a big bad way? How do you make those decisions?
Right. Yeah, it's a great question, and I'm going to sound like 40 right now, so please,
watch
just
that.
laugh.
Watch that.
But,
oh God, go someone go call senior housing.
No. So, but here's the thing. I think it's because I grew up, and I'm very open about this. I grew up as an introvert, and I'm still an introvert. So I spend a lot of time alone in my own thoughts and just like reflecting and just like being by myself. Because I'm at the position now where it's like my situation is not relatable to a lot of my friends. It's like they're like, yeah, my manager said this, and I'm like, I guess I'm my own manager. I feel like it's like funny. But I think what I really trust is, because I've been so kind of like on my own and doing this, like I feel like my relationship with like spirituality and like higher level spirits and everything is like pretty strong. And so when I see a vision, I literally like see it, I literally like see it. And then everyone around me thinks I'm crazy, because they're like, well, you're seeing it, it's delusional. And I was like, if you call it delusional, then that's great. But when you see it coming to life 2 years later, you will know where I was coming from. So I think what I'm saying is, when you're so uncluttered from the world, I think you're able to see things a lot more clearly. Mm-hmm. And I think that's been my thing. So I don't know if you want to call it like praying, or you want to call it like just reflection or meditation, but my connection with like higher spirits is very strong. And it's so funny, and you're going to laugh again, but literally like a year ago or 2 years ago, I think 2 years ago, when I was at the second job, there was a moment when I was like, I don't want to do any of this. And I literally took out like 5 sheets of paper, just like printer paper, and started writing out my plan. I was brand Shinjini, net worth this much. And I don't even know how that came from. Like, I don't even know how that came from, but I stuck it on my wall. And to this day, like, all of that is true. And this was 2 years ago. My dad walked in and he was like, you have no idea, how much this money is or whatever. And I was like, I'm not asking you for it. I'm not asking you to give me that. I'm just saying that it's going to happen. So I think what I'm saying is, when you're so, I guess innocent, maybe I want to say naive, you believe anything can happen, and so that's what I use even today is that intuition and that connection with the higher spirit, because I feel like now I'm at that point where it's like, I do know if something is right. Even though most people, they don't agree.
So
they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah.
I want to ask you, Fred, do you have a crazy genius in you, like obviously Shinjini has over here?
Yeah, I'm a signs and symbols kind of guy. I think, things come to me, I think the universe speaks to me, God speaks to me, and I kind of pick up on things. I listen to my elders, I listen to their wisdom and their stories, and I kind of apply it to my life, especially just mistakes they've made, so I don't make the same mistakes. But yeah, I definitely pick up on things in the universe, and I think there's times when I make a lot of some of my best decisions from that, I have to say, especially pertaining to my career, because this career is, you got to be tough, every day you dealing with rejection in some capacity. Now, with Twitter, with, social media, it's crazy.
Right.
Well, it's funny because I made a Facebook video today after walking out of an audition. First of all, just to get an audition was thrilling for me. And second of all, to walk out of it and feel really good about yourself. Mm-hmm. And not really worry whether you book the job or not, which I think my manager's listening, but I don't want him to hear that. But I didn't really, I felt like it was such a success for me in that moment. And I made a Facebook Live video about it because I felt like this show was so relevant, because everyone's definition of success is different, and it just changes from moment to moment, person to person, day to day. And if we could just take the small successes with the big ones also, I feel like we would all feel more successful in general, right?
True.
What do you think, Shinjini?
Totally. It's so funny. I don't know if Judy read my tweet today, but she liked it. So I will assume that she read it. That's exactly what I said today. I said, go-getters celebrate their wins, both big and small.
Oh, no, I
right.
didn't see that.
Wow.
See,
Yeah,
I'm
but that's what I
psychic,
tweeted.
See, connected. All
That's
connected.
what I
I'm
tweeted.
feeling it,
Because I
Shinjini.
think-
Synergy.
Yeah, because, I think, synergy. And I think that, why not? I feel like life is so long, and I feel like, and we're all, seriously, the biggest go-getters, and, we're so ambitious. To us, to get to where we want to get, it's, years, right?
Yeah.
So why not be happy with an audition, right? Why not be happy with, someone agreeing to partner with you? You know what I mean? Those little things.
Mm-hmm.
That's, my latest motto right now. Is I just need to get to the next step.
Yeah.
That's all I want, just that next step. And the rest.
Well,
of it
you've
will be
already
fine,
taken so many already, so
God.
it's just, it
It's baby
shouldn't really be hard to take another one. I mean, you've taken,
I'm inspired.
infinity amount.
Yeah, I
It's
feel like
just
a slacker.
incredible what you've done already.
I feel like a slacker. I got stuff to do listening to her. I'm
Did
like,
you hear that?
Oh my gosh! And you, I'm not letting go of you yet. I want to know what your latest is and how we can find you and what's going on, because I know you have a lot of projects right now going on.
Oh, this Fred? For Fred?
Fred, that's Fred.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey. Yeah. I'm returning with my play, my award-winning 3-time NAACP Theater Award play, 12 by 9. I'll be bringing that back in the fall.
Shame on you. You feel like a slacker. What?
And I'm actually I've been brought on to write the Harold Melvin project. Are you familiar? Am I familiar with Harold and the Blue Notes? Millennials? Judy, help me. Harold.
Yeah.
If you
Hey.
know me by
Not too
now.
fast there with the non-millennial thing.
Okay, well, he was a famous, legendary R&B singer who's, a lot of people sampled his work. So I'm working with his son on doing his life story.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Amazing.
So that's two of the things, as well, a couple other things. So that's what we're looking at. So they've been keeping me busy right now.
So if Shinjini wants to tweet at you and follow you on Instagram, I know everybody else does too.
Yes.
What's your handles? What's your website? How do we find you?
So my Twitter is Derf Samat, which is Fred Thomas backwards, DERFSAMOHT. And
That's what that is. I looked at that today. I thought, what?
And my Instagram is I am Fred Thomas Jr.
Do you have a webpage?
Yes. My webpage is 12by9thestageplay.com.
Wow. And Shinjini, we know you've got legions of followers, but we know that you always love to have more followers. How can we find you online?
Yes, I'm at Speaker Shinjini across all platforms. That's SPEAKERSHINJINI. I will tell you a quick story, really, really short, about the genesis of that. So when I first started on all of this, I was actually wondering, what do I call my handle? Should it be just my name, right? Shinjini Das, and should it be? I was playing around with a lot of options. And I told myself, and even then, see, this is proof to you that I've always been prescient, intuitive. I said, you know what? I know that this speaking thing is going to become everything. So I think the title should be speaker, so that I myself remember how I got into this. So that is the genesis. That is the genesis. But yeah, Speaker Shinjini across all platforms.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Well, I love that. Just in case, you know how Judy, how Jane Bishop always reminds us to remind ourselves of our it. Shinjini has done that with her Twitter and Instagram handles. We know exactly.
She's go getting it.
Yeah.
She's go getting it. So, folks, thank you so much. Fred, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys. I had a ball. Thank you, everyone.
Shinjini.
Thank you.
Jenny, pleasure meeting you.
Thank you
Judy,
so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you.
And now you can say Ellen DeGeneres, the Ant-Man and the Wasp, and What Women Want mentioned your new gig.
Yes, yes, I will. Oh, and we just did a thing with Alexia. So Alexa is going to be doing What's Up, and it's coming. So I'm just putting it out there. We just did it.
All right,
Yeah, we did something
congratulations.
last week,
So
yeah.
you
Oh my
can.
goodness.
So Alexa's going to say what's up. So what we have up next week, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is that we have media and publishing mogul Leslie Jane Seymour on the show. She's the former editor-in-chief of More, Marie Claire, and Redbook. She's an impressive woman. She has a great story. Now, remember, folks, subscribe to us on YouTube. Don't miss one show. Go to whatwomenwantradio.com for more. And see you next week, everyone. Have a wonderful night.
You're listening to What Women Want with Judy Goss and Kristen West, only on LA Talk Radio.